11-7 in the MAC, 22 wins overall. ULM 18-15 and had a nice run in the postseason tournament in the Sun Belt Conference, finished 9-9 during regular season league play. Yep. And here we go. The Flashes in the dark uniforms, the Warhawks in the gold.
If they come up with a tip, they're going to move it around and try to find the person that they want to handle it. I want to make sure everybody touches it.
You talked about the three balls would be coming a lot, and we've got an early one from Jalen Avery. That's his 64th. So, yes, it's Walker who has more threes, but certainly Avery is a big contributor.
You know, those two guards, Avery and Walker, have played together for 4 years. Great inside pass to Andre Washington.
Washington, the junior out of Fort Worth, goes right to the rack and lays it in. Mike, you mentioned it earlier. This Warhawks team, particularly over the last 3 or 4 weeks, has shown a better ability and more willingness to take the ball inside. The big guy powers it up, and yes, he uses his muscle. Philip Whittington, a 6'8 junior from Columbus, Georgia, and he is strong down low.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. You know, they've got to help him inside. Andre Washington can't defend him by himself, and Uri White is out. He's not going to be here tonight. He hurt his knee again.
The Warhawks get it down low again, but the runner by J.D. Williams won't go. The Flashes will try to get it up quickly, and they are not afraid to launch the three off transition.
They'll put it up. You know, C.J. Williamson thought about it himself.
A nice defensive play by J.D. Williams, but the Flashes get the ball back, 14 on the shot clock.
Yeah, J.D. can really get up, and he's going to try to defend their big guard and make them shoot over him.
Avery missed it, and that one's fumbled away. A couple of Warhawks had a chance to grab it, but it went awry, and the Flashes will try to make them pay. The three ball is in the air. There's another one by Walker, and it goes down. Walker with 87 made triples. He's coming off a 19-point, 11-rebound game against Central Michigan in the MAC quarterfinals.
And when he crosses half court, he's a threat to score, so they've got to pick him up early.
Smith, quick release. Oh, that's what he does so well. Deshaun Smith can create.
I know that was big for Coach Richard to get him off to that start. He he had kind of been in a little bit of a slump during the conference tournament, but in those 3 games, he only averaged 15 points a game, but that looked good for ULM.
For most people, 15 is not a slump, but he averaged over 21 during the season. An off-balance jumper, good. That was a drop step, or rather the jump step, and then about a 14-footer went down for Walker, and that's part of that creation ability you talked about in the open.
He can do so many things. I mean, he can take it to the goal. He can pull up to shoot. Most of the time, he gets inside the 3.
Smith is fouled, and he'll go to the line after converting the three-pointer.
Well, I think Deshaun wants to let everybody know he's back. You know, like I said, for him, he had a slump, but he's 2 for 2 right now from 3 and fixing to step up to the free throw line.
He's a very good free throw shooter, as are many Warhawks. 86% on the year. 7 early points for Deshaun Smith. Kent State 10, ULM 9. We've seen firepower early, Mike, and we thought we would. Walker misses from out court. Rebound pulled off by Travis Munnings.
See, Walker was sitting there ready. When he got it, he'll put it up. And, you know, so with the Warhawks. Travis Munnings didn't waste any time getting on the board either.
He has started all 34 games coming into this one. 65 triples for him as well. Can you imagine that? You've got Ertl with 76 coming into the game. You've got Munnings with 64, and you got Smith with 104 coming into the game.
They can put up some threes. You know, Walker just come up with that big rebound there, the offensive rebound to keep it alive and get to the bucket, and now they're shooting free throws.
Avery is fouled. So far, these officials, for the most part, have let a little bit of bumping going on, but that was very much an obvious foul.
Yeah, well, if it's involved in a basket, they're going to call that usually, but you know, they do want them. They want the talent to decide the game or who's playing the best, not their whistle. But sometimes, you know, the lack of a whistle is worse than too many whistles.
2 of these officials work MAC games as well as other conferences, and 1 is out of the Sun Belt as well as other conferences.
You know, as we talked earlier, you know, they work so many conferences right now. You know, you don't really know what their home conference or base conference, if there is such a thing, because they'll be in 3 or 4 conferences all year long.
Smith had that one blocked beautifully by Antonio Williams.
Yeah, Antonio Williams can get up. He's an athlete also. He's only 6 feet tall, but he got up. And you notice Deshaun was not going to take it all the way to the goal. He gets inside. They're going to try to pull up and shoot it before they get in there to the big man.
Munnings puts it on the floor, dishes it late. And the kick out, Williams fakes the three. This is Smith with 4 on the shot clock. He'll take one from the left side. No good. Tipped around right into the hands of Travis Munnings. Right place, right time.
Washington kept that alive. He just got a hand on it, jumped up and tipped it, and it happened to go to Travis. But Travis is always around the basket. So now they're just kind of boobing around and feeling around to see what they get. They're going to look inside.
ULM by a bucket here.
So he just back him. He can push him under the bucket all the way.
And a traveling violation is called against the big fellow Whittington. Let's take a timeout with 15:35 to go in the first half in Monroe, Louisiana. 3 of them. And the Flashes are 2 for 5.
So Deshaun's going to bring it down this time, and Ertl will probably go down and spot up and try to get loose.
We have not seen Ertl attempt a shot, and he can be a very effective scorer, especially from out court. He's got a quick release when he puts the ball in the air. He'll try to create the shot. Nothing's there. He kicks it to Munnings. Munnings working down, spinning, leaving it on the rim, and it rolls and goes.
That was a good move inside. He's got to take it in there, avoid his man, but he's also got to avoid the post man, Whittington.
And how about this for Travis Munnings? He has set a school record for most games played in a Warhawk uniform. Getting the start today, it's his 133rd game for ULM.
He came and started as a freshman. He's played a lot of games, and he's done a lot of good things for ULM, just as Walker and Avery has for Kent State.
As a coach, you got to love it, huh? You just pencil that guy in every game for 4 years.
He's going to show up. He's going to be there. You don't ever worry about him being ready.
Contact down low. Whittington can't get it to go. It's going to stay with Kent State.
Boy, he just powers his way in there. That was one thing that concerned Coach Richard. When we mentioned the keys, you got to help out on the post. That's one of the things that we were talking about. You just see him get it and go.
Mitch Peterson has checked in. A 6'5" junior from Richfield, Ohio, averaging 4 a game with 3 rebounds. He's had 17 starts, so he's had a lot of playing time.
And we've got Tyree White came in for Andre Washington 10 to give him a little help on Whittington.
White, a 6'7" junior from St. Louis by way of Moberly Area Community College, averaging 5.2 points off the bench.
Rhodes took it in there that time, or Roberts, I'm sorry. He carried it to him to penetrate and then hit the cutter, and then somebody got a hand. I think Travis got a hand on it.
Anthony Roberts is a freshman out of Detroit.
They're high on him. He's done a lot of good things for them.
He's had a couple of starts this year. A rebound pulled off by the Warhawks. That was Smith, who can go inside and pick off missed shots. That was an errant pass, an unforced turnover there, and not many mistakes have been made by ULM like that all year. Ertl knocks it loose, and it's picked up on the court by Smith, who hands it back off to Ertl. It was Ertl who got it all started.
That was some hustle play right there. Smith just gets on the floor. You think, he's going to wait for his three, but he's going to get on the floor and come up with the ball to help him get to that three also. I think they thought the last time down the floor, they thought that there was going to be a cut, and it wasn't. And he anticipated and threw the ball away. Ertl finally gets a shot off and misses it. I think he had to work awful hard to get that shot.
He did, and he forced it a bit. And Ertl, you can see Ertl talking to himself right now.
Yeah, he's involved in the game more. I think picked up a foul then on DJ Williams. He picked up Walker a little high, and I think put his forearm on him is what the official signaled.
ULM by 4. Walker gets a rest here with 5 points. This for 3. On line, but it rattles out. Came off the hands of Anthony Roberts.
You know, he came looking for that shot, too. You think just because he may be a freshman, he may not look for that, but he may not shoot that quick, but he went for it.
ULM takes it right to the rack, and that's Deshaun Smith. And that's what he is doing more and more as this season has progressed.
It is. You know, he took it all the way that time because they had the big man out. So he was able to get all the way to the basket. But he's also got to watch 3 right here at Frederick. He is he's quite a leaper, too, and he's a good shot blocker.
Kean Frederick with a very good give and go. The senior out of Columbus, Ohio. He got the return pass in perfect position for the flush.
He did. He's active, and he's an athlete. So they got 2 big men that they can really go to. So Travis is trying to get in and dishes it off to Tyree, but he's unable to finish it with it. So they got to pick them up. Now, this is one thing that that Coach Richard had stressed was get back and get in their face early.
That 3-ball misses from the wing in front of the ULM bench. Munnings gets rid of it to Ertl.
That was a good cut by Travis, and he just wasn't able to get the ball to him.
Munnings wants it low, but didn't really have terrific position down there. And we'll take a timeout right here with 11:48 to go in the first half. To ULM fans, right in the middle of your screen, former 2-time Super Bowl quarterback Stan Humphries. He was the quarterback here at ULM in 1987. When the Warhawks, who were the Indians then, won a national championship in football, and Stan Humphries went on to a long and productive career. A quarterback for the Washington Redskins, a quarterback for the San Diego team in the NFL, and he's a huge basketball fan as well.
He is. You know, he's coached basketball, women's basketball here at ULM. He coached football here. He's at an awful lot of games. He's a great supporter, and he's a super nice person. We just had picked up a foul there on Walker. I think that's his first one, and they got the ball inside to Travis, and he went up with it, and he got him on the back.
Munnings at 74.3%. That's a very solid percentage, but believe it or not, the team percentage for ULM is even better than that. This Warhawks team shoots the lights out at the free throw line.
They really do. Now, Ertl shoots them better than all of them, but he's not. He hadn't shot enough to really qualify for official stats. He's in like 92, I think you mentioned earlier. But he and Smith at the free throw line a lot.
(19-14). This is the biggest ULM lead. Kent State continues to try to get the ball down low, and Kean Frederick scores for the second time. He's got 4 buckets. A big 6'9" senior from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, they try to use the bigs to set a screen out at the top, and then they'll just roll back to the bucket. There's Deshaun getting his 3, but he didn't get it to go that time.
Frederick tipped it to a teammate, but it's going to go back to the Warhawks on an overthrow.
Well, he was back there. They just didn't quite get it to him. Walker was. He went, I think, when the shot went up, he went and expected them to get it, and they actually got behind ULM. It was just a little overthrown, but again, that's an uncharacteristic turnover.
We are delighted to have you with us for this first-round action of the CollegeInsiders.com postseason tournament. With Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame coach Mike Vining, I'm Lynn Rollins. And the gentleman next to me sent 8 ULM teams to postseason play during his career, which resulted in 402 victories on the sideline here at ULM, and 7 NCAA appearances and 1 NIT performance as well. Mike, I know watching postseason basketball from a different vantage point still is exciting for you, and it brings back some fond memories, doesn't it?
Oh, it is. My wife and I, that's all that's on our television when we get home in the afternoon. We're watching someone play every single night. This is our favorite time of the year.
Williams with a nice move, but he misses from point-blank range. Rebound pulled off by Travis Munnings, the #1 rebounder for the Warhawks. And a throwaway and a fumble by Williams. But the Flashes get it back. Runner off the high backboard won't go. Put back won't go. Another rebound by Munnings. He's been a man on the defensive glass. Look at him run the court. Travis Munnings started it with a defensive rebound. He finished it with the layup.
He did. He got a little off balance, but he made sure it went in first.
Roberts for 3. Big tip attempt off the rebound. Williams went down hard. The Flashes hold on, and Williams looked like he hit his tailbone as he went sailing way up there, but he couldn't complete the tip and then came down hard on his backside.
He lost his balance coming down, and not only could you see it, you could hear that.
And you could almost feel it.
Hopefully he'll be okay and be ready to come back as soon as he sets over there and kind of gets his win. But he'll be a little stiff tomorrow.
Frederick returns to the lineup. Ertl goes to the bench for the Warhawks in the light-colored uniforms, and Brandon Newman checks in for the first time, a senior out of Hawthorne, California, averaging 2.6 points and 1.2 rebounds. He's played in 31 games off the bench this year, has Newman.
He gives them a little size with Ertl, and he'll come in to relieve Deshaun, and then he's a good defensive player also.
There's some nice defense by Smith. He was ready for that give and go.
It's another one of his steals, and he's got about 3 steals a game.
Smith high off the window and couldn't get it to go, but he does draw the foul, and Smith is down on his back, not getting up eagerly. Now he gets some help from Washington. Deshaun is an 86% free throw shooter. That would lead most teams, but not the Warhawks.
That's true. That's true. Well, it was uncharacteristic. One game earlier in the season, he missed 2 one night, and everybody wanted to know what was wrong with him. But he made like 14. He was 14 for 16. Wondered what was wrong with him. Kind of like me mentioning earlier, he was in a slump with only 15 points.
Smith out of Jacksonville, Florida. He started his career at Wichita State. $11 points for Deshaun Smith. He's the first to double figures.
Well, he took it all the way to the goal. We mentioned earlier that they might have to pull up, but, Whittington's not in the game. Well, he is back in the game now because Frederick was in there earlier. But he's got both of them in there right now, Frederick and Williams.
Smith missed it. He got his leg hooked up with the defender. Good no whistle call right there.
Well, his feet didn't look right. He just didn't seem to be set.
Roberts nestles it in. Got that 14-footer to go. Anthony Roberts, first bucket for the freshman out of Detroit.
I'm impressed with him. He's right at home when he steps out on that floor. He doesn't have to warm up. He doesn't have to get the feel of the ball. He's ready to play when he got in there.
And a back-in foul called against Andre Washington.
Yeah, DeAndre just turned his back.
Michael Ertl comes back. They stepped on the baseline, I believe, or travel.
Yeah, or travel.
So no foul, and Ertl checks back in.
Well, that's to give Smith a little bit of a break. Try to keep him fresh. As many minutes as they've played all year long, Coach Richard's trying to later on in the season give them a little bit of break.
The Warhawks were 9 up and 9 down in conference play. Anthony Roberts tosses in the 3, so that freshman you talked about, 5 points off the bench.
That's going to be another one that Coach Senderoff's going to be looking for 4 years.
Ertl putting it on the floor, snaking in, and drew the foul. The foul called on Jalen Avery. So Ertl will be at the line when we return. Michael Ertl averaging 91.8% at the stripe. He picked up his scoring average in the Sun Belt Conference Championship tournament by 2 points a game. He averaged 17.3 in Sun Belt Conference play, 15.3 on the year. That's the first point for Ertl tonight.
Yeah, he really did step it up, and then they needed him. It seemed like Deshaun wasn't scored. Another one that stepped it up was Travis Munnings. For those 3 games, Travis and Ertl really carried a big load. Of course, Deshaun still had 15 a game, but that was a long way from his average.
Count the bucket, and a shot coming for Kent State at the free throw line. Well, you talked about Munnings. He averaged 17.3 points a game as well in those 3 Sun Belt Conference Championship tournament games.
Yeah, he was playing well. He hit his threes. When he hit that one earlier here, I know that was a good sign. for Coach Richard. You know, Whittington, Coach Richard stressed earlier that they were going to have to give him some help, that one of ULM's players is not going to be able to stop him because he's stronger and bigger than Washington is in there right now, and he's just muscling him around. He's got to have some help.
Newman's calling for it, gets it to Ertl, quick release three, online but a little bit long. Washington offensive rebound. He hands it back to Ertl, double teamed in the corner. Got to get rid of it, and does. Here's the kick out, and a 17-footer off the side rim. Williams missed it. Another offensive rebound and a lay-in by J.D. Williams. The first bucket for the junior out of Birmingham, Alabama, from Tallahassee Community College originally.
J.D.'s just a big-time athlete. He can really sky. He doesn't score as much as some of the other guys, but he's in double figures a lot.
He has started every game but one this year for the Warhawks. 27-24. This for the tie. Oh, my. How about that?
He doesn't look like a freshman, does he?
No, and he backed out, and that was close to NBA range.
Yes. That
levels the game at 27.
We talked about Walker and Avery playing for 4 years being together. That's going to be another one that.
We've got an inadvertent trip in backcourt and a foul called on Munnings. He got accidentally tangled up, and Munnings is called for the foul.
Well, that's a tough one for Travis, because he picks up fouls playing inside and stepping outside and trying to defend the bigger guys, and not being as strong or bigger bodied as some of the other guys. He tries to push with his arms a little bit, and he gets a lot of fouls in there. So getting one like that really hurts him.
A little more than 6 minutes remains in the first half. Kent State can take the lead with a score. A quick turnaround spinner from the left elbow won't go for Walker. He's been held to 5 points so far. Late dish for the lay-in. Well done. Smith feeding Munnings.
That was great penetration, a great pass, and then, of course, Travis was looking for it. So that was another part of it, and he was able to finish it. Yeah, that's what Coach Richard had mentioned also, to penetrate and then to dish, and maybe not just to dish off to the postman, but also to kick it out for a three. But he knows they're going to be picking him up in there.
Munnings on that last bucket now has 12 points, the first player in the game to reach the 12 mark. Good offensive work on the glass by Antonio Williams. Williams, the junior from Chicago by way of Indian Hills Community College. That was his first bucket, and he worked hard for it.
Yes, he did. And I think he was the one that hit the floor so hard before. He can really get up in the air. Ertl finally gets a bucket. He was able to penetrate and score it. You know, he's left-handed, so that kind of messes him up a little bit early, I think. They got a hand on it, but he was able to get it in the basket anyway.
So Ertl, who had a couple of free throws earlier, gets his first field goal.
You know, they're setting a lot of ball screens right now, trying to get something.
That was good defense on the drive, but apparently a foul call.
Yeah, I think it was a reach in. I mean, he got his hand on him. It looked like he was going to lose the ball anyway. He didn't have good control of it, but when he reached in, I think that was an automatic call. We got Smith back in for Newman right now.
Kent State has led by as many as 6. ULM has led by 7. Right now it's 31-29 Warhawks in Monroe, Louisiana, on this beautiful ULM campus.
You know, we've been watching those turnovers. It was it's 4-4. I think it's 5-4 right now. So, you know, they talked about both teams. In the press guide, they talked about 10 as kind of a magic number for them.
10 is a very low number. There's the quick drive. Deshaun Smith put it on the floor, and the next thing you knew, he had split a couple of defenders for the layup.
He could go with it, and he can pull up and shoot so well, it's hard to back off of him to stop the drive, because he'll pull up and hit the three.
Kent State continues to attack.
Williams just take it to the goal, and you know, they didn't really get in front of him. He got by the first person. They got to have some help, and I think they were all looking for him to dish it off, and he finished it.
He averages a dozen. He's got 2 buckets tonight. Ertl gets inside, hangs, misses, tipped in by Washington. The angular 6'8" junior from Fort Worth was right there.
You know, Ertl got in there, and Whittington got up with it, so all he could do was just get it up higher than his hand. And thank goodness for ULM that Washington was there. And
well, how about Jalen Walker? We've seen him score in a variety of ways. He's got a triple, and he's got a couple of twisting buckets.
So he just, you know, we mentioned earlier, he and Deshaun are so much alike that they can both score from outside. They can both take it to the goal, and they're both living up to it.
Ertl down low, reverse layup. He's left-handed, but he scored with the right hand.
He made a great cut, and he got a really good pass that time.
A long 3 from behind a screen. Yes, by Avery. That's his 2nd of the game. And his 65th on the season.
Yeah, they just, so many of their players can just pull up and shoot. You know, we saw Roberts come in and hit it, and then we knew Avery and Walker was capable of doing it all the time.
Mike, one of the things that piqued my interest statistically was, despite the up-tempo nature on both of these teams, they take good care of the basketball. They both average just a little more than 11 turnovers a game, and that's a low number.
That's a very low number.
Ertl with that spinner and then the back away.
You know, especially at the pace of the game, but they really take care of the ball. And for Kent State, you know, they've got the 2 senior guards, because they got a freshman thrown in there, and he's taking care of it too. But those 2 guys really take care of it. And then Ertl and Smith handle the ball extremely well.
This ball is tipped around and eventually recovered by Washington.
Yeah, 2 or 3 people had a chance to get that one, and finally just got to Andre.
4-3, quick release. Yes, J.D. Williams. That's his 41st of the season. He has started every game but 1, and that's his first triple of the night. He's got 5 points.
You know, that was a good skip pass, and he was just spotted up. Everybody had dropped to the ball side, and he was just left over there.
Avery left alone at the free throw line extended. He misses, but it's cleaned up by Philip Whittington. Philip Whittington is a mule down low. Very, very strong and very determined.
Yes, he is. He's 6'8", but he plays a lot bigger than that. 7
points for the junior from Columbus, Georgia, by way of USC Upstate. The lead is 4 for the Warhawks, and there's a pile up down low. Washington was fouled. We will be coming back with free throws right now with 1:09 to go in the first half. It's 4. The Warhawks are 16 of 29 on their own court here. Fant Ewing Coliseum on this gorgeous campus at ULM. And Kent State 15 of 34. Ertl, nice pass down low. Contact, but no whistle. Munnings couldn't finish it after that super dish by Ertl.
He got it in there, but I think just Whittington was standing there, and he just couldn't get all the way to the basket. Boy, Smith got up after that one. I mean, he just went up over everybody. I think he just had him a step and went and got it. Of course, Richard called a timeout.
So just under 48 seconds remain in the first half. Start.
Coach Richard just wanted to make sure they finish out this last, 47 seconds strong.
Mike, this tournament format is intriguing to me because after every round it's reseeded, which I think is a great idea.
It is.
ULM does not know, nor does Kent State know who they might play in the next round. Of course, they've got to win this game, or where it might be played. It'll be reseeded and announced shortly after all the first round games are over.
Well, that kind of keeps everybody awake. You can't really make a lot of plans because we just had a big turnover right there. Push it up. It was 2-on-1 and didn't get advantage of it. And then the Flashes just missed one on the other end. Deshaun, Coach Richard called a timeout to make sure that they got 2 good shots out of this. And he had a turnover, tried to, I think, dribble between 2 people. One of them got a hand on it. So now they're going to make sure that they get this last shot.
Kent State will hold it for the last shot, apparently. Trailing by 4 right now. Avery backing away. 3 seconds left. He'll pull it up, take the 3, and nails it. Oh, that's as sweet as Mayhaw jelly.
It is. It come off of that big screen by Whittington, and he was able to knock it down.
That's his third three of the first half. He's got 11 points. The senior fared particularly well when trailing at the half. Now, granted, this is only a 1-point deficit. They're playing a team that's 13-2 at home this year. The Warhawks have had a wonderful home schedule in 2018-19.
They have. They've shot the ball extremely well, here in the Fant Ewing Coliseum.
Kent State is only 2 wins and 9 losses when trailing at the half this season. But again, this is only a 1-point setback. 1 point, that can mean a lot. ULM starts off with the ball, and then they got a hand on it. Kent State got a hand on it and knocked it out. So ULM's about to bring it in. They just got 21 seconds on the shot clock. J.D. Williams, who had 5 first-half points, throws it in. They quickly get it down to Washington. He was left all alone. And Andre has 6. That was very well done on the inbounds pass.
It was. Munnings broke to the corner, and it sucked his man out and left Washington open under the basket. He cut, and they just made a great pass, and he finished with it.
2 passes and a layup. That's exactly what you want coming from the baseline.
It was a good way to start the second half, especially when you start off with the ball.
Walker reigns one home. Jalen Walker, by his standards, did not have a good first half, but he's got 10 points now, and Jalen Walker can be like a microwave. He can just heat up in an instant.
He can. I think you got a little glimpse of what it's going to be like this second half, I'm afraid.
Ertl leaning, working forward, pivots, can't get it to go off the window. A fine move by the sophomore, but unable to finish.
Well, he had to make that big move to get away from those big bodies inside, and there's Walker again.
Jalen Walker with a smooth jump shot. He's got 5 points in a row.
And
Kent State has regained the lead on that jumper by Walker.
Well,
not for long, though. Deshaun Smith rams one home, and Mike, I think they counted that for 2.
It'll be interesting to see. I couldn't tell exactly where he was. There's a big man inside again. Whittington gets that offensive rebound, is able to go back up with it, and gets fouled.
Well, they may have counted that for 3. That shot by Smith. I think they did. So he's got 16 now. Free throws coming. Whittington is not a good free throw shooter, but he's 2 for 2 tonight. 8 points. 56.3% at the line this year. Takes a wide stance. We are a minute and a half into the second half.
Well, he's a good free throw shooter tonight.
He is.
So far. He's a force inside. I know they talked about Walker and Avery, but I know Coach Richard was concerned about Whittington. They're moving it around now. Deshaun and Walker's going to handle the ball a good bit, I would suspect.
This is Ertl at the top with 8 to shoot.
So they switched off in. Smith broke out and was going to be open, and they switched to pick him up.
Only 2 to fire, and that did not stop Travis Munnings. 14 for the 6'6" senior from Freeport, Bahamas. Travis Munnings has played in more basketball games for ULM than any player in history.
And that says a lot. There's been a lot of really good players here over the years. And, he's also one of 4 players that scored over 1,000 points and got over 800 rebounds. So he's done a lot of good things.
14 points tonight from Munnings.
Walker missed that one.
Oh, a lot of contact there as players were out of control after the ball was tipped on the way in.
Andre looked like he tripped, he stumbled. He didn't trip, stumbled, and he stumbled into the other guy. And
that's a 3rd foul on Washington.
They call that foul on him, so that's...
That truly was an accidental foul, but he did make contact with the head of the opposing player.
It was. It affected the other player. So, you got to call it no matter what. But that puts him in 3 fouls, so he's going to have to watch himself, and especially when he's having to guard Whittington in there and without Uri White even suited out tonight. Then we come up with a big steal that time from C.J. Williamson. And he was trying to put his head down and go to the goal, and they got a hand on him.
Smith came out of there with the ball, and a 3 ball is up and good by Munnings. Munnings has started every game this season. You would expect that out of a guy who has more starts than anybody else in the history of ULM basketball. The Warhawks 53. The Flashes 48. 16:50 to go in the first half. 48 lead in a first-round game of the CollegeInsiders.com postseason tournament. With Coach Mike Vining, I'm Lynn Rollins. Kent State in the dark uniforms. Mike, this could be a second half where attrition plays a part. ULM, for the most part, only going with a 7-man rotation tonight.
Yeah, they've done that good most of the season this year. They got an offensive foul on Frederick right then. He was trying to push his way open or either hold Travis off.
That's Whittington. They've charged it against Whittington.
Oh. Wait, I thought it was Frederick. So that's Whittington's first then, isn't it? Or that's his second?
I've got him for 1.
Well, that's what
but we'll wait for the update.
It's a total up there. It's a total up there of 2. See, Tyree wasn't looking for the ball that time. He was open, and they saw him open and threw it to him.
Avery online, but a little bit long, and a strong defensive rebound pulled off by Tyree Waite.
Yeah, he went after that one. He wasn't watching for the pass coming to him, but he was looking for that rebound.
(53-48) Warhawks, but not for long.
Well, Walker he's doing what he does.
He had 7 first-half points on a triple and a couple of doubles. He's got 8 second-half points on 2 triples and a double. 15 now for Walker.
See, Travis broke in there open.
Right down to Ertl. He's in tall traffic down there.
That's the wrong place to be.
Oh, what a strong move by J.D. Williams. 7 points for the junior from Birmingham, averaging 12.3.
Whittington was there, but he was able to just get up. J.D. can really, really jump.
He's a quick jumper, too, isn't he?
He is. I think Whittington was trying to make sure he didn't foul. He just got up, and that's enough for a lot of people.
Walker gets his man in the air, now forces it, left it short. But an offensive rebound pulled off by Frederick. Kick out for the long 3. My goodness. So when they get going, they get going.
Yeah, Avery was just sitting there waiting on it, and they got it to him. That's what that offensive rebound will do for you. You know, they cause them to miss it, and then they still lose that 3.
That's 4 triples for Avery. That gives him 67 on the year. That was his first bucket in the second half. 14 points. Ertl with a scoop shot.
Yeah, Ertl's able to get by that first man. He can go.
Ertl, it rhymes with turtle, but he's that certainly does not. That's the opposite of what he does on the basketball court.
You're exactly right. He may lull him to sleep, the defender to sleep, but he takes that first step. If he gets by him, he's gone.
Nice little floater from about 6 feet by.
Boy, that's that Anthony Roberts again, that freshman.
That's 10 off the bench, Mike, for him.
He is really, really playing well.
Roberts is averaging 5.5. He's got 10 tonight. And a ways to go. And there's a bump well away from the ball. That one called against Whittington. Let's take a timeout right here. 13:45 remaining in this game. First round. Picked up a couple of victories against Vanderbilt out of the SEC and also Oregon State.
So they've had some big wins. You know, they had a bye in that first round and then lost, like I said, to Central Michigan. They just didn't. Walker didn't score but 11 points, but then Roberts and some of the other guys made up for it. So Tyree White, he made sure he finished that one no matter what the size of the defender was.
That's his first bucket, the junior from St. Louis.
But he's another big-time athlete. He's just not big, physical, and strong. He took off. He got his feet going before he got the ball going.
ULM is shooting nearly 60% from the floor, and yet the lead is only 3.
That would be scary for Coach Richard. You know, looking at that, knowing that you've got to shoot 60% to hold on to this lead means you got to take care of the ball every time. See, they like to double when you go off of a ball screen, and ULM does that a lot. They double team it when it first comes off. So you got to find the next player and usually make a skip pass.
That's good down low defense by Kent State.
It was. We mentioned JD taking it to the goal, and he can jump. He got in there and got up in the air, and it wasn't anything to do with it because those big guys just took care of him. Frederick was in there on top of him.
Roberts puts it on the floor a couple of times, tries to make a blind pass inside. Too much traffic there, but the loose ball is picked up by Kent State. This for three. And way overshot by Jalen Avery. He's converted 4 triples in this game. This is Ertl. Fakes right, dribbles left, kicks it back out to Smith. Now Williams. Back to Ertl. Half the shot clock remaining.
Yeah, they kind of look for that screen, and then he's also watching for that double team. Here comes JD taking it to the goal. Instead of going with his left hand, he goes up with his right.
And he's fouled by Frederick.
Foul number 3 for the Golden Flashes, Frederick.
Yeah, that's his third foul. You know, if
he's been disqualified on fouls 4 times this year. Whittington has fouled out of 7 games.
Well, that's 2 big guys they need in the ball game. You know, JD's able to finish. If he'd gone up with that left hand and got the bucket out of this, he might could have got a 3-point play. And right now he's looking for 2.
He's a good free throw shooter, 79% plus, and he bags both of these. 9 points, 4 in this half for Williams. The lead is 5 for the Warhawks.
You see Avery and Walker dribbling around out there and handing it off. You wonder how many times in 4 years they did that. Tyree just pushed him out of bounds that time. Frederick got the ball, went baseline, and I think he saw he was beat, and he just kind of bumped him with his body to push him out of bounds.
That's his first. White has had 6 starts this year. He's been a valuable man off the bench.
He has. He's an athlete. He can go in and out. He can step out and shoot the 3 actually himself. So a lot of times Coach Richard will try to pull the big post man out.
Yeah, he's got 18 of them. Ertl comes away with a loose ball. Williams working one-on-one. Count the bucket. Blocking foul. A 50-50 call, and it goes ULM's way.
He was able to finish.
Bonded with a 63-56 lead. This matches the biggest advantage for ULM and a chance for J.D. Williams to add the old-fashioned 3-point play.
And he finishes it off.
7 second-half points. He's got a dozen on the night now, and that's right at his average. He averaged 12.3 on the year. He averaged 10 points in 3 Sun Belt Conference tournament championship games.
Hey, this is the first time we've seen Mitch Peterson, number 13, in the game.
Offensive rebound. That's slapped away down low.
Well, Whittington is just a force to deal with down there. He just goes up there. He's a tremendous athlete, and he's strong.
That's taken away. Terrific anticipation by Smith, but then he tried to turn that play into something gold, and it came up rusty.
It really did. That would have been a big one if they'd have got it. But
look at Keith Richard. He knows that was a terrific steal, but Deshaun Smith tried to heave it the length of the court and find his man on a skinny post pattern, but he overshot him.
He did. It was just in too big a hurry to get down there. It was a good thought, but he should have had a second thought. Well, Whittington, he's moving around in there and sets a big screen, too.
This crowd is getting into it right now. Many of the crowd on its feet. Chanting, clapping, defense, 4 to shoot, fadeaway jumper, tough shot. Ball hits the deck, picked up by Walker, another chance. That's knocked away. J.D. Williams skying.
He got a hand on it, and Ertl picked it up. Now, they just need to make sure they get a good shot this time. I'm sure that's what Coach Richard's telling him, and Travis thinks he's got one.
Quick release from the corner. Wouldn't go.
Tyree White come up with it eventually and then got it knocked out of his hand, so it's still ULM's ball.
And Virtually the entire shot clock remaining.
Entering for the Golden Flashes in the green, Frederick.
Well, we
There
got
you see
Frederick.
White pick up the loose ball, and then it's knocked out of his hands.
Well, Kent just got bigger. They brought Frederick in this time now for Roberts, the freshman. So now they've got both big men inside, Whittington and Frederick. Because they got Frederick on Travis, and they use that when they set that screen. When Travis comes up and sets a screen, they double team Smith when he comes off of it, and that time they fouled him.
Deshaun Smith was grabbing his left hamstring and is kind of gimpy right now.
Well, I think he tried to split the two players, and I think he probably got a knee somewhere.
He was holding his left hamstring as though it was cramping.
Well, he's got to get back in the game. He thought he was coming out. Coach Richard sent Newsom to come in for him, or Newman. So he called a timeout to get him out and get him rejuvenated to get back in the ball game. But when he tried to split those two guys, that trap, he got
for balanced scoring for ULM. Munnings with 18, Smith 16, Williams 12, Ertl 10. Good stuff.
They've done those kind of things all year long. The numbers might change by the names, but the names has been there all year long.
Ertl drops it down low. A lot of bumping going on. Fadeaway jumper won't go. That one came up a little short from Munnings. Good idea, but just not enough lift on that shot.
Yes, Travis was going to fade away from him. Like I said, he just faded away a little more than he put on it. You see, there's Whittington in. He's right up on every rebound, even going up over Tyree. You know, and a lot of times during the season they'll call out a foul. But like you said, they're letting them play tonight.
Man, it's fun to watch those guys go at each other, isn't it?
They both get up after it. But Whittington is around every single rebound. He's done an outstanding job of just keeping the ball alive if he didn't get it.
How about that? Munnings, a perfect cut to the bucket. The timing was fantastic.
Yeah. Carried his man outside and beat him back to the basket, and they made a great feed to him.
9:20 to play. This is the biggest lead for the Warhawks, 66-56. Will he shoot from there? No. Gets it down low. There's a push and a bucket. Whittington was fouled, and he scored.
Scored anyway and then got the foul on top of it. Looked like Tyree just pushed him.
That's his second foul. Well, they are trying to stretch Deshaun Smith.
Yeah,
get him back in the game.
Yeah, he may have a cramp somewhere. Looks like they're trying to stretch it out.
Whittington finally misses a free throw.
You know, if Whittington hadn't been shooting it, had been on the free throw lane, he might have come up with that rebound. He has kept some balls alive, even the ones he didn't get.
Munnings is the leading rebounder for the Warhawks with 7.
See, without Deshaun in there right now, they don't have that penetrator.
Williams for 3. He'll count it. That's his second three-pointer of the game, his 42nd of the season.
And JD says, why do we need to penetrate?
69-58. The Warhawks are pulling away with 8.5 to go. Frederick threw that away, tried to force it in there. Ertl on the move, lobs it up. Oh, baby! J.D. Williams finishes. And the place is rocking.
Yeah, that brought him alive and brought a timeout. Because that's the kind of athlete that J.D. Williams is. He'll get a hand on a pass on the other end, and you throw it anywhere close to the basket, and he'll put it.
Let's take another look at this. Have put some space between themselves and the Flashes over the last 2 or 3 minutes.
They have, and it's really got this crowd into the game. And, you know, one of the reasons ULM was able to host a game was because of the attendance this year, and the crowd showed up again tonight.
ULM has outscored Kent State 29-17 in the second half to advance a 1-point lead at the half to 13 right now. Kent State trying to do something about it. Avery dribbling away from Ertl.
Well, they come off of that big screen of Whittington's, and it's tough to get around that.
Frederick for 3. He missed everything. Brandon Newman pulled off the rebound. Newman takes it all the way and lays it in. A rebound, and then the seas parted, and he took it right through the gap.
He did. He gave it a look off. They thought they were going to dish it off to the wing, and he just carried it to the goal and finished it.
That's his first bucket, the senior from Hawthorne, California, by way of Trinidad State Junior College.
Well, J.D. got into him that time and picked up another foul.
Entering the game for the Golden Flashes, number 15, Anthony Roberts.
So that's J.D.'s second foul. So they got Roberts back in the game now.
Both teams with 5 team fouls. You got to shoot that.
Yeah, they just dropped off of him and dared him to shoot it, and then he couldn't turn it down.
Frederick looked a little uncomfortable at first.
No, he didn't want to shoot that, and probably the coach didn't want him to shoot it either.
He was wide open from 15 and double clutched a couple of times. Munnings at the top. Newman. We slide under the 7-minute mark in Monroe, Louisiana.
See, they double team and throw that lazy pass up there, and that's what happens on the other end. There's a freshman again, and we talked about Robert. But, you know, he's played for a year now. He's not a freshman anymore.
12 points for the rookie from Detroit, 8 in the first half.
But that double team, that's what it'll happen right there. You got to recognize that, and you just pick it up and throw a lazy pass over there, and they're anticipating. You may have to fake that pass and skip it to the next guy. It'll be open.
That one almost went awry. Keith Richard has taken his jacket off, trying to get his team to play hard and efficiently. A miss by White. Here we go.
That was a little out of his, not was out of his range. He's a little further out. They called in a foul on. Looks like they're calling on Tyree.
That's his third.
But, you know, it's kind of tough when the big man is just puts his butt on you and just pushes you to the basket, and then you try to push back. Well, then you get the foul call on you. I know it's frustrating for him, but it happens. It happens every game.
Well, here's good news for Warhawks fans. Deshaun Smith has apparently shaken whatever was ailing him. Most likely a cramp. He's back in the game. Big defensive rebound by J.D. Williams. Man, it was like he launched off a trampoline.
He did. He showed what he can do. As you said, he jumped high and quick.
Ertl. Munnings. Ertl wants it back. Too much traffic in the middle. This is Smith. And a spinning move and a foul called. And Munnings, when he gets up, will go to the free throw line.
You see, Tyree broke out to the wing that time and pulled Whittington out and opened up the inside for Travis to go in there.
Munnings is a 74.3% free throw shooter. If you missed the announcement earlier, Munnings, by virtue of his start tonight, has played in more games than any other ULM player in history.
And he's climbing up that scoring chart too. As you know, as we mentioned earlier, he scored over 1,000 points in his career, and then he's got over 800 rebounds. There's only 4 other guys who's done that.
This is his 133rd game in a Warhawks uniform. Williams was fouled before the rejection, and Antonio, who's a 72.6% free throw shooter, steps to the stripe for the first time tonight. He's been limited to a couple of first half buckets, and that's a factor in this game because he scores a dozen a game.
Yeah, he does, but he was going to the goal then. He was getting aggressive on that possession and just got bumped, and J.D. went and got it.
The junior from Chicago at the line.
You know, that's the best way to kind of quieten that crowd.
There's Keith Richard, sans coat right now.
Yeah, he's probably started getting a little hot. He's been pretty active over there.
That's a pair of pretty good-looking free throws. Nice arch, nice backspin to deaden it if it hits the rim.
He stepped up there and took care of his business.
75-62. Warhawks lead it. They have really separated the last 4 minutes.
See, they've got Tyree out in the wing again in the corner to try to suck Whittington out there. Whittington's staying under the basket, so that's why they need to get it to him right there.
Whittington with good defense, but the return is good. Tyree White stayed with it. He missed it from the right side, went and got it and scored from the left side.
Yeah, he was able to put it up there, but Whittington got a hand on it. Boy, Whittington sets a big screen. He just set it on Smith at that time.
Boy, they're battling down low on that block. Well, Whittington comes out now rolls inside, gets the return pass. He shoots, he scores. Somehow, that was just a power move. I'm not sure he saw the goal when he went up to first launch that shot.
He backed and made contact and turned and spin away and then put it up there. But we broke under the 5-minute mark now.
13 for Whittington, 7 in the first half. 4.5 to play.
Travis just made another cut. They wasn't able to get it to him. JD didn't think he could get it to him.
A 77-64 lead for the Warhawks. This is Munnings. He'll take it. Munnings is accurate from right there. 1, 2, 3 threes in this game. 67 of them on the year.
Yeah, Travis will tell you at the top of the key, that's just a long free throw. That was an athletic move. He didn't get in there, but then Whittington cleaned it up for him.
Back to Munnings for just a moment. He's 4 out of 5 from three-point range. He's 9 for 12 from the field.
He shot the ball well. You know, Whittington, we're talking about all he does. He's just a junior, a 6'8 junior, so they're going to have him back next year also.
ULM by 14. The kick out. Ertl will take the 3. It rims out. Munnings might have been a little bit not selfish enough right there.
He was. I think he thought Whittington was too close to him, so he kicked it out. He had a shot if he'd just made a move, but he saw Ertl, and you know Ertl is a shooter, so he wanted to get it to him.
The Warhawks will take their time with this possession as we get to the 3-minute and 10-second mark in Monroe, Louisiana.
They said they've got to get some motion. They can't just stand around and wait.
A 3-ball in the air, and that is a dagger. Munnings again. 3 of them in this half, 1 in the first half, 4 triples on the day, and Munnings right now is throwing chiclets through a keyhole.
He is doing that.
Well, there's that triple from Jalen Avery. He's got 5 threes in this game. Let's take a timeout right here with 2:40 in tournament. With Coach Mike Vining, I'm Len Rollins. 2:47 to go. And it's been a second half in which ULM has taken control after leading by a single point at intermission.
It is, and we'll see a little intensity pick up on the pressure this time. You know, they'll start taking some chances. They'll double team. They're going to try to come up with some steals.
ULM has outscored Kent State 41-28 in the second half. Still some time to burn. That went all around and wouldn't fall for J.D. Williams.
A big-time athletic move. It just didn't go for him, and they moved the ball, and Whittington had them moving the ball.
How about that? Jalen Avery, my goodness. Pinpoint accuracy and a very swift release. He's got 6 triples in this game, 3 in each half.
With Avery and Walker out there, the game's not over till the buzzer sounds.
83-72. That's knocked away by Frederick. It will stay with the Warhawks. 16 to shoot. 2 minutes are left in this first round game.
See, they got Tyree moved out there, but he just got to deliver that pass. Ertl was open on the cut, but he didn't get it past Frederick.
Ertl is like a gyroscope. He never stands still.
He's moving.
He'll take the return pass. 4 seconds to fire. 2 seconds. Ertl spins, shoots on line, but off the rim.
You know, during all that, he saw the shot clock. He probably wouldn't have taken that if it hadn't been for the shot clock.
Avery with a wild left-handed effort, and Ertl will pull it off and now walk it up. 90 seconds to go.
Yeah, they're going to run some clock now, I would think.
83-72, ULM leading in Monroe.
Unless they can get it going to the goal. See, Tyree's in the corner. They got him spread out.
10 seconds to shoot. 71 seconds left in the game, and I'm surprised Kent State is not stopping the clock. Ertl makes contact, blocking foul. One of the best free throw shooters in the country will step to the line.
That was a big...
Are you a little bit surprised that Kent State, down by double digits, is not stopping the clock here?
I would have thought they'd have been a little more aggressive. Double team, make them do something. It looked like Smith is coming out of the game again. Newman's coming in, but yeah, they got to force the action. They can't just let ULM run the clock because they're only going to have the ball a couple of times if they do that.
Ertl is over 92% now at the free throw line. He's bagged a couple today. Oh, there's news. He misses one. Boy, he's upset, too. I mean, he is very upset.
Yeah, that's what we talked about Smith. When they miss, that's the story. You made 15 in a row, but when you miss one, that's the big news. And now they've got to stay in front of them and watch the threes.
And ULM does not want to foul here.
No, and they already did.
So this allows Kent State point opportunities without the clock moving.
Exactly. You're scoring while the clock's stopping. The clock is your friend. You've got to take care of your friend.
Anthony Roberts at the line for the first time. This freshman having a very nice game.
But Roberts did a good job of attacking Ertl and the basket, too.
13 points for Roberts. He's averaging 5.6. So if indeed Kent State closes its season here in Monroe, Roberts had a very nice finale, didn't he?
He sure did. He sure did.
He's a freshman from Detroit.
Okay, now they're putting in some speed now. C.J. Williamson, they're going to pick up the pressure, and they'll probably start fouling. It's 10 points now. It's a little late, like you mentioned before, but you know, the coach knows what he's doing. He fouled down here early, and he thought he didn't call it.
Well, this is a 4-possession game right now.
Yeah, Avery fouled him and was kind of upset because they didn't call it quick enough, but then they did call it. But, you know, they fouled Newman instead of Ertl, or of course, Smith's not in the game. Usually, the ball's going to be in Ertl and Smith's hands, but Newman took his place, so he's got to step up there and take care of his business now.
He hasn't shot a lot of free throws, but he's been pretty good at 76.2%.
Well, he's going to have some chances, I think, the rest of this ball game. He might have even more now. They'll be getting him quick. They're going to try to foul it before they get to Ertl. See, if they can keep the ball out there, that's what they need.
That was a wild, ill-advised shot by Jalen Walker.
Yeah, they got the ball in Ertl's hands. Ertl should keep the ball. He just needs to keep the ball. Of course, they're going to leave him alone now. It doesn't matter what now.
Kent State will wave the white flag.
ULM defended the home court, and they didn't have to worry about those 5-point margin of victory. It's going to be 10.
The Warhawks will go to 14-2 on this court. Ertl will take the shot. He got it. A little icing on the cake for Ertl. 14 for the sophomore. The final shot of the season is good from Avery. 4 triples in the second half, 3 in the first. 21 points from the three-point line for Avery, 23 overall. And this game is done. We have a winner. ULM 87, Kent State 77. First round action in the college.